Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a VeVe OMI update video, and not much else. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Okay, let's get right into it. People are feeling a certain type of way about VeVe pulling out of London Comic-Con. We'll go over the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll try to do it in under 20 minutes to get you guys out of here and on to your next thing. So let's go over the initial announcement from VeVe on their Discord at 4:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we know many of you were excited about MCM Comic-Con. That was the one in London, and honestly, so were we. We were looking forward to connecting with you all and celebrating everything VeVe together. After a lot of internal discussion, we've made the call to realign our focus towards the events, where we'll have a full booth presence. And since MCM isn't one of those this time around, we've decided to step back from attending. These decisions are never easy, and we understand that some of you had already made plans. Please know that this was not taken lightly. Now for the good news, all eyes are on Lisbon. We'll be hitting the ground in full force at NFC in June. That's a non-fungible conference, and we can't wait to reveal what's coming. We're grateful for your support, especially those of you who offered to help with the UK event. Thank you for always rolling with us. See you at the next event. Now, this by itself, okay, that's kind of like a press release. We've seen that happen many times over on many other companies, many other event plans and stuff like that, not even just from VeVe, but just all over the world. And usually this is something that VeVe is very good at. When they go off and they have like a no-name comic that will likely make them $7,000 or $8,000 over on the app, I see it posted on X, I see it posted on Facebook, I see it posted on Instagram, all within like 1 minute of each other. They're normally very good at this. However, remember how I said that they had posted that on their Discord, which very few people use, at 4:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, they did the same thing. They wrote that same thing down, verbatim, word for word, posted it on X 8 hours later. 8 hours and 9 minutes, to be exact. And this is one of those things, and again, I'll go to we're going to cover the good and the bad here. The bad part is that they had waited 8 hours and in order to announce that over on X, and normally I'd be like, oh, okay, they posted one thing there. Yeah, the people that were paying attention to Discord for any random drop, they knew a few hours earlier before others about this drop, and oh, where'd you hear about that? Oh, they put it. I don't go on Discord. They should have posted on that. Should post everywhere at the same time. Fair point. This is not one of those drops that'll make them a couple $1,000s. This is very big news, and this news it's not good news. Well, it is, but it's not. Again, we'll go over why I'm actually for this decision, but the way they did that. If I were the person who made this decision, which again, I'll go over later why I think it's a good choice, didn't look at the consequences of, okay, let's post it on Discord and then wait 8 hours and then post it everywhere else. That gives it time to percolate. That gives people's time and their feelings to percolate. And you're just going to have nothing but FUD for 8 hours and even past that. Like it's been a full 18 hours since then, and it's just been a lot. And for today's FUD, VeVe kind of dropped the ball on this one. Again, what they posted was fine, but again, they posted it in Discord, and clearly they're letting people know. Clearly they let people know, and there are reasons for this, and we'll get to that in a second. But you have people that don't really understand business. It's like I remember going and helping out. Like I worked in animal hospitals for like nearly a decade before I joined the military. And at one of the networking events that I was at, like years later, somebody asked like, hey, could you like help in how to see it from like a client's point of view? It's like, I can no longer view animal hospitals in the same way from a client's point of view. I just can't, because I was so enthralled in that industry. I just can't see it from a client's point of view. So I understand that the people at VeVe, whoever made this decision, is looking at it from a micro or macroeconomics point of view, from a CEO, not just of like, I'm CEO of this company with like, 30 likes and, like one employee. They have like 100 employees, and, it's not just, it doesn't translate well. Where you make a decision, you put this out, you have people that have no idea what the health of the company is, unless you're someone like me that goes over how many active users they have each day, what amounts that they're grossing on each drop, the estimated that they're grossing over on VeVe Comics. Unless you do that, you're not going to know that VeVe's in a pretty healthy position where they're still grossing hundreds of thousands each month. And again, that's gross, that's not net. But still, they have a lot of money coming in. And ever since Ben came on board as the new co-CEO, they've been hiring. They've been getting this bread. They've been growing the company. But if you're somebody that doesn't do that, they might think, oh God, VeVe's, why'd they pull out a Comic-Con? They said, we already said they said that they were gonna go. People made travel plans, which they acknowledged. And this is not, this is not good. Does this mean they don't have money? That's the only reason that you don't go to an event, right? Because you don't have money, they can't afford it. Well, let's go over some of those reasons. Again, you get people that go in and say, like, they assume the worst. And then you have the fudders that just perpetuate that notion. Then you have the people that just like drama, and it's just not a good look to have all this out front. And again, I don't know 100% the reason why they're not going. But I'll say this. Remember last year when they had said, hey, cool, this year San Diego was great, it was fun. If you take a look at how many new purchases were made of the week of San Diego Comic-Con, it was like 30, 50, like it was very few. So the amount of money that they had spent, which I'm guessing was well into the six figures for San Diego Comic-Con, probably 1 to 200,000. It just wasn't worth it for like the, 100 or so people that they onboarded. Now, the London Comic-Con, I assume, is a much lesser of a cost. But let's say it's still 50 to 75K for a couple of days where they don't have a full booth or a booth at all. They're essentially going and paying people and compensating people really just for parties. And don't get me wrong, I love to party. And every now and then your community needs that, because it has been a horrendous bear market. It has been a horrendous couple of months. Now, granted, none of this is VeVe's fault. You have the fact, again, the bear market kicked off when Russia invaded Ukraine. That's still going on. That might end soon. You have the trade war that's going on. You have the Fed chair that refuses to lower rates. There's just a lot of negative stuff in the macro that's going on that's affecting all of these things. So I understand where, and again, I don't know where the decision came from, but I applaud the decision, because why go in and spend $50, $75, $100,000 on a couple of parties that's not going to go in and onboard anyone? Maybe it helps onboard a couple of people, but let's say you have like an extra 20 or 30 people that get onboarded each week, and now you have 50 people that get onboarded on the week of this. Like, I don't think that's going to be much of a case to spend this amount of money. And for somebody like me that's super interested in resource allocation, I think this was a good decision to go in and say, hey, we could use this 50 to 100K to go here, where it's not going to be worth it at all, but we do it for the morale. Or we just put that into Lisbon, make Lisbon awesome, and just wherever they decide to put that money is going to be better resource allocation as opposed to just putting it into London. Now, that being said, yeah, you have a couple people that got through, a couple people that I know of, and I assume many more beyond this. You have the people that, where VeVe had put out their official "where you can find us" earlier this year. London was part of that. Generally, aside from a few edge cases, generally you have people that go in and say, the further I book out, the cheaper it is. And for the most part, that is correct. And then you have people that in the gold logo group that are kind of salty because they're not getting the chance to redeem their stuff. They thought they were going to be able to go to London, and now they can't, whether they live locally, whatever it was. They can't redeem the VeVe gold logo stuff if they're not at a physical event. So I know I don't know if I'll keep the names out of this, but I know 2 people that had booked their tickets for London. Now it's over a month out. It's like five weeks from now that they told us about it. So it's like, okay, cool. Those people should be able to go in and get their either get a refund or get like the flight credit, which is BS, but whatever. But let's say they didn't. Let's say like, hey, you know what? I can afford the X amount of hundreds of dollars for this, but the extra $68, $69, I'm coming nice down below at 69. It's too much for the insurance. We're going. I'm not going to change my mind. Be there or be square. And now they can't get it back. Like that type of stuff is really not. That's not a good look. You have people that are loyal enough to want to cross an ocean or cross a pond or to travel to go see you. And again, they say that this decision was not taken lightly, and I believe them. But again, coming back from a CEO's point of view, if anyone's ever read the book Fight Club, first off, like 10 out of 10 would recommend. One of the best books that I've ever read. I have a tattoo of it. May I Never Be Perfect. My friend Patty wrote that on me. And there's a paragraph in that book where they're talking about a major car company and the dilemma that the car companies go through when trying to initiate a recall or trying to determine if they should initiate a recall. Well, they take the number of vehicles in the field, which is A, and you multiply them by the probable rate of failure, which is B, and then you take the average out-of-court settlement, C. So A times B times C equals X. And if X is lower than the cost of the recall, they don't do it. Now, obviously, VeVe is not a soulless car company that's just letting people crash and die and stuff like that. But the same rules apply where, okay, even if they said, hey, we'll give refunds to people that had already booked and they can't get refunds, that's likely going to be what, $10,000, $20,000? That's likely going to be less than the cost of it was to go there. Even if they did that, which one, they don't have to, because again, there's no guarantees with any of this. Like I said, I think they made the right decision. Now, did they relay this knowledge in a good way? No. This is one of the other things that VeVe right now has struggled with. The PR aspect of VeVe has gotten better since Ben took off. It was pretty good in 2021, where NFTs were just popping off. Everyone was writing about VeVe. Disney had retweeted it. Marvel had retweeted it. And, maybe we'll get some of that back at some point. But for like 3 years, there was like no articles written about VeVe. There was no retweets or whatever. Then finally, as Ben comes on board, okay, you have a Forbes article that's written. Like you have all of this stuff that's being written. And I was like, okay, this is good. So that has gotten better, but the dissemination of information, especially for something like this, was just a big L. And again, I would much rather something like this happen than like a gross mismanagement of funds or, some type of scandal. Like if this is the worst thing that happens, and again, it sucks. Part of the reason I'm making this video is because I sympathize with the frustrations of my friends and the people that follow me and the people that help make VeVe what it is, and that some of them got screwed. Most of them did not. Even the ones that got screwed, most of them are probably able to get that refund. They're probably able to do, whatever, X, Y, and Z, and they'll be fine. This will blow over. But I just felt I needed to make this video because there's just a lot of negativity out there, and fair point. Some of that is earned. I'm going to say a decent amount of that is earned. But look at the bigger picture here. If you look at the forest through the trees, you can see that, okay, yeah, it makes sense starting to come out of it now. Parties are great. Love parties. But it's better for VeVe to go and take whatever capital they were going to allocate here and reallocate that elsewhere. So whoever made that decision, they're probably getting a ton of emails, a ton of flack, a ton of grief. But I'm going to sit here and say, bravo, that is a very hard decision to make, and it was not taken lightly, and you're likely getting a lot of crap for it. And again, some of that might be deserved because of the way the information was disseminated. But as far as the actual decision, I think it was the right one. And this is just another perspective that's probably going to get me a lot of hate. Like, oh, you're just a VeVe fanboy. And like, again, half of this video was stuff that VeVe did wrong. But at the end of the day, I think this was a good decision that they had made. The way they made it probably could have been a little better. Anyway, that's it for me. Everyone, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Bye. Meow, meow, meow.